What's up, guys? I want to talk to you about triggers. Triggers are the things that you're going to use to snap into the person that you need to become to get what you need to get done. Look, as we go into any situation, whether it's a bid, whether it's a sales call, whether, I guess sales call is pretty much the same thing, but whether it's a service call, whether it's a meeting with your technicians, if you're a manager, whether it's, having that uncomfortable conversation on the phone, no matter what it is that you have to get uncomfortable with, like it's going to be uncomfortable. You know it's going to be, no matter whatever it is. You got to have that awkward conversation and to let somebody know that they're not performing the way that they need to perform. Whatever it is, use triggers to become the person you need to become to get that action done. So what does that mean? It could be physical objects, could be touching a necklace or grabbing the button on your shirt, or could be fingers, just touching two fingers together. When you do that, you turn into that person that you need to become. You have to know mentally that this is my trigger. When I do this, it means it's go time. It's go time. So have you ever seen that? I watch a lot of YouTube videos, and I watch Dan Pena, which Dan Pena is not for everybody. He is what he would call himself like the last alpha male, and he will rub you the wrong way. And I can promise, in one form or another, he's going to rub you the wrong way. But I still enjoy watching some of the stuff, and I still agree with some of the stuff that he says. So, but one of the things when he's talking about business, and he's talking about going after what you need to go after in life, in general, and he shows this video, and there's these like wildebeest, and they're just passing and passing, and this lioness, this female lion is just sitting there, and she's like trying to decide which one she wants to go after, and they just keep running past and running past and running past her. And then the male lion comes up and he just goes right out and grabs one. And that's what it has to be for business. I've heard Gary Vee also say, business is not that difficult. Well, I know that business is difficult. I mean, you can't just say that and just like throw it under the rug and say, I get it. There are a lot of intricate working pieces in a business. And anytime you add people into that mix, which you got to have people for your business, each individual is different. And so I get it. It can be very difficult to run the business, especially in our type of business, because you got to be strong. You got to be smart. You got to be tough. You got to be, well-spoken, so you can talk to the customer and sell things. You've got to be a lot of things in this business to succeed. So I get it. It is tough, especially when there's a lack of qualified people who are willing to, who are smart enough, strong enough, tough enough to do this and have the ability to speak clearly. So it's one of those things that I get it. Business is tough, but the reality is there's business everywhere. There are opportunities absolutely everywhere, but you have to turn into that lion who just reaches out and grabs it. You can't just keep waiting. There's people right now out in front of your business, or when you're driving down the road, there's customers passing you. Everywhere there's customers, potential customers. Well, you can't just wait for them to come to you. You got to be aggressive and go out and get them. You got to talk to them. You got to hand them your business card. I'm telling you, every time I'm at the gas station pump, when I was growing my business, I talked to everybody. If I went to the hardware store in a different little town, because I was working in a different little town next to my town, I had a business card in my hand, and I talked to the person at the register at the hardware store. Hey, if you ever need anything, please let me know. Like you have to go out and get it. You can't just sit back and wait for it to come to you. But if that's not your personality type, that's why we're talking about triggers. You may have to trigger yourself to get out there and do the shit that you don't like to do. You have to get uncomfortable. You got to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. So whether it be turning the key off in your van before you get out to attack a service call. It could be when you take that step up on the front porch before you get ready to ring the doorbell or knock on the door to enter a service call. Whatever it is, find that trigger. Find that trigger and use it. And you've got to know mentally, this is who I am. So decide who you are. You could be a badass salesman. You could be the most thorough technician in your entire region or in the nation. And when I turn that trigger on, there's nothing that's going to stop me. I'm like a predator when I go into that house in a good way, because I'm finding things that are wrong that need to be fixed. And so I'm a predator for problems in the house. Not a predator with the customer. I'm a predator for problems in the house. But you may need a cue to trigger you to get you to do that. So whatever that cue is, it could be passing a doorway or opening a door. But we have to remember that what we focus on is what we become. So we have to focus on these things. If we want to be better, if we want to serve our customers at a higher level, then we have to become that person. We can't just sit back and wait for that to happen. And sometimes, especially with the way things are right now, with what's happening in our businesses, in our world, like reasons or results, you got to be focused on results. Focus on results. But here's the thing too with our business: if you love it and it's not work, it's your purpose. And I talked about that just a little bit in the last video when I was talking about the coronavirus. But never forget the moment you were chosen, guys. I'm telling you, that is something that we've all been chosen to this field for one reason or another. There are ways to change your physiology and psychology that can help as well. This is one of them, by using a trigger. So you got to know who you want to be. And I don't know who it is for you, but when it comes to identities and taking on a different identity, I always think of you remember Sin City and how tough Mickey Rourke was, and when he went in and he's like, I'm going to the top of this chain to find out who murdered this chick that I really cared about, right? Even though he spent one night with her, he cared about her, and he's going through the top of the food chain, and there is nothing that's going to stop him. You better just get out of his way. Well, that's how you have to be when it comes to going and getting customers for your business. You got to say, nothing's going to get in my way. Nothing. I'm going to become a predator for people to come to my business so I can serve them at a higher level than any of the companies, any of the competition around. When it comes to just what you need to become as a salesman, well, you might pick an identity of Jordan Belfort, right? The Wolf of Wall Street. Sell me this pen. That could be something that you could use to your advantage when you use a trigger, whether it's when you sit down at the kitchen table. That's your trigger to boom, give everything you've got into this sales presentation so the people feel your passion and they know that you are the one and only company to do business with. You got to have this fire. You got to just get in there and get it. And then when it comes to smarts, whether if you just want to be smarter and just learn more, and take on the identity of somebody that you admire, who's extremely intelligent. For me, I'm a huge fan of Dr. DeMartini, Dr. John DeMartini. I've followed him for years. I'm actually going to get to go see him at the end of May in Denver, and I'm really excited about that. But he's what they call a polymath, which is he's a genius. He's a genius because he's read over 3,000 books and he studied all the ologies, axiology, physiology, psychology, biology, all these different ologies he's studied, and he's also studied universal laws. So he just knows a lot about a lot of things, and there's certain affirmations that he said to himself because he was not born like this. He was not born extremely intelligent, but by affirming that he's a genius and he applies his wisdom. I'm a genius and I apply my wisdom. He said that to him. And eventually your cells are going to listen, that your brain's going to start listening. I've always had a hard time retaining what I read. So I started saying here just recently, I retain what I read. I retain what I read. I retain what I read. And I'm just telling myself that because eventually it's going to come to pass. It will become true when you continue to tell yourself those things. So three personalities, three identities that you should have, which is one, somebody who will not quit, somebody who's tough as nails, somebody who will do whatever it takes to get what they need. Number two, somebody who can sell like a maniac, who is 100% comfortable providing solutions to customers, to taking the blinders off and seeing everything in the home so you maximize each and every opportunity. Number 3, somebody who is smart and intelligent. I've always said about myself, I'm like, I'm not like the smartest cookie on the block. I have a drive, and I know that work, like, I'm not naturally talented. I may be talented in some things, but HVAC was not my natural talent. But I've worked and worked and worked hard at it to become better and better and better. And that's how you get better at anything. So I still want to learn a lot more about life and a lot more about everything that within my business and leadership and all these things that I want more of. I've got to apply myself, and I've got to actually spend time on those things because I value those things. And when you know what you value, then you have to spend time on those things to get better, because that's what's going to be fulfilling in your life. But pick 3 identities that's going to get you what you want in life. That's going to get you the customers you need. That's going to get you to get through tough times. So those are my 3. You got Merv from Sin City, who's a tough badass who will not let anybody stop him, no matter what. You've got, Dr. John DeMartini, a polymath, an extremely intelligent person who teaches and shares his message with the world, all around the world, all year long, every year. And then you've got like Jordan Belfort or the Wolf of Wall Street, like Leonardo DiCaprio's. And some of his sales, I know he was kind of screwing some people over. I get that. And I'm not about that. I'm just about the confidence, right? The confidence that you need to sell things. Like, he definitely has that. And you got to have that. It's a key component of sales. So, guys, I hope this served you. I hope you love this. Can't wait I can't wait for the summer to get here and start crushing it. And I hope that this lifted you up in some way, shape, or form, because we got to get aggressive and we got to go out there and get it. So, guys, love you. Go get it. Go make money. Boom.